Welcome to Afternoon Agenda. I'm Julie Snook. Thanks for your company. Our top stories this afternoon. New South Wales has recorded 15 new coronavirus cases, half the amount confirmed yesterday. Let's go live to Charlotte Mortlock in Sydney. Good afternoon to you, Charlotte. Look, it is welcome news, but do we know what Christmas will look like?
Yeah, Julia, it's certainly a step in the right direction. The Premier says it's too early to know whether this is going to be the start of a downward trend, but 15 cases, it's half what we saw yesterday. The Premier says that she will not make a decision on what is going to be happening on Christmas Day until Wednesday morning.
This is an ongoing and evolving situation, and we know how contagious the virus is. There could be very well developments in the next few hours which cause us again to go back to the number of cases we've seen in the last few days. So I appreciate how frustrating it is, and I'd love to be able to tell everybody today what Christmas might look like in New South Wales or the Northern Beaches, but we're not in a position to do that yet.
The other good news, Julia, fairly impressive statistics. New South Wales conducted 38,000 tests yesterday, which is a new record for the state. There are a few new venues which are of concern. The Salon for Hair in Turramurra, they have 5 new cases linked with that particular venue, and because of that, that is going to be an area where close contacts need to go into self-isolation and have their also get tested for COVID-19. Another venue that is of a concern is the Rose of Australia in Erskineville in the inner west of Sydney. Now, all of the full list of places on high alert can be found on the New South Wales website, but it is now being questioned whether or not the government should make it mandatory that people wear face masks. At this stage, it's encouraged, but it is not compulsory.
The feedback I've had from the Northern Beaches community is that everyone is being very compliant with the requirements around wearing masks indoors. Of course, I would continue to stress that, and we will look at any additional requirements around that. Our messaging around masks has been pretty consistent, and I've also noticed we will be monitoring the uptake.
One of the most important parts of the state's line of defence is that we have the correct information when people are checking into venues. Now, some people have been putting down fake information or illegible handwriting at some of these check-in places. At the start of the pandemic, the New South Wales government was quite quick to try and establish compulsory QR codes across venues in the state. Now, they were allowed to have some freedom over which QR code platforms they had. And now the government is being asked why they're not making it mandatory that they use the New South Wales service app.
We have world-class tracers in health, but they can only do their job if we as a community give them the information they need if and when it is needed.
Why is it not necessary now? If you're saying that the information isn't there that you need for contact tracers to do their job, why haven't we already made this mandatory?
Because there are many people who have actually set up structures that work very well, and we're going to work with our community, not actually be punitive as you're suggesting.
The search is continuing for patient zero in this particular outbreak, but health authorities believe they have found a very close contact. That's a US traveller that is in hotel quarantine after returning to Australia. But now authorities are trying to figure out exactly how that may have got from hotel quarantine out into the broader community of the Northern Beaches.
We actually have, to your point, gone back and reviewed all the CCTV footage around this individual. We're also looking at flight crew, anyone else who may have returned from overseas, and as you know, we do that day 2 and day 12 testing.
Julie, a lot of people's Christmas plans have been thrown into disarray because of this outbreak. The government is acting swiftly to try and bring it under control as quickly as possible. The Deputy Premier, John Barilaro, has asked anyone that has plans to travel to a regional community this Christmas to stay home if they have any signs and symptoms and to come forward for testing.
Certainly some positive signs, but still so many questions. Charlotte, thank you. We appreciate your time.